Would you believe me if I said the whole city of Chicago moved to Hawaii and suddenly disappeared? You wouldn't, because that is practically impossible. But to the surprise of many, things like this have happened in the past. Today, we'll look into the mysterious disappearance that occurred in 1587 of the Roanoke Colony, an entire settlement of English people that founded what was to become North Carolina, USA, simply vanished. Where did they go, or what was done to them? Stick around to uncover the mystery behind the Lost Colony. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified of more interesting videos like this one. Although this incident sounds too much like it came out of a sci-fi horror book, it's all too real. A group of people who set out to explore a new land arrived on an island and established a new settlement, a new home in hopes of building a future. The leader of the clan travels back to stock up on supplies, and when he returns a few years later, there was no one to welcome him back. All his people were gone, vanished without a trace. That is the story of the Lost Colony of Roanoke Island, one of the greatest mysteries of American history that people have been trying to solve for hundreds of years now. The journey began with two previous expeditions to Roanoke Island, an island located off the coast of North Carolina. Firstly, it was Sir Humphrey Gilbert who set out in hopes of establishing a new colony in North America. But unfortunately, he drowns in Newfoundland. From there, his relative Sir Walter Raleigh takes up his position. However, he doesn't go to North America, but he goes to the south in search of the lost city of El Dorado. To find out if Sir Walter Raleigh ever found the lost city, watch our video on El Dorado, where we uncover the secrets of this so-called lost city. So then, in 1584, some of the other explorers go to North America to find a place where they could settle a new colony, and end up on Roanoke Island. From there, they return to Sir Walter Raleigh to inform him of the find, and they brought along with them some Native Americans from the Croatoan tribe. With all the great news, in 1585, Sir Walter Raleigh sent a couple more ships with Sir Richard Grenville in charge to set up a new colony on Roanoke Island. About 4 months later, they reached the island and built a new settlement there, and began building relations with the neighboring tribe of Native Americans on Croatoan Island. Everything was going great with the natives, until someone alleges one of the natives of stealing a silver cup, which ended up in the colonists ransacking and burning down one of the native villages. From then on, the relationship with the Native American was not so great, and with food supplies running short, Sir Richard Grenville decides to go back to England to bring back some supplies. But he doesn't come back on time. The natives raided the colonists in retribution for the Silver Cup incident. As the colony is going through a hard time waiting for Sir Richard Grenville to come back, Sir Francis Drake, one of the members of the colony, proposed to take the colonists back to England, and they agree and leave with him. After some time, Sir Richard Grenville comes back to find no one on the island and decides to go back again to bring people to make a new colony. But he leaves some men on the island and tells them that he will come back for them. Finally, in 1587, John White, one of the men who came on the previous expeditions, come to Roanoke with a new group of settlers of 117 men, women, and children, and find the island abandoned. Those few men that Grenville had left behind were long gone. There they built a new settlement once again. Unfortunately, relations with the Native Americans were strained, but things were still on the brighter side until one of the colonists got murdered, and the colony was left dependent on their own supplies from England. John White tried hard to help his people carve out a new life on the island, but the situation kept on getting worse. In the month of August in 1587, John White set out on sea back to England to gather more supplies for his people. He bade them farewell and assured them he would return as soon as he could. Things didn't go as planned when his ship was enlisted to fight the Spanish Armada at the request of Queen Elizabeth I. It was not until 3 years had passed that in 1590 he was able to return back to his people. But when he reached Roanoke Island, there was no trace of even the colony's houses, let alone the inhabitants. What happened to the whole colony? What happened to his wife, his daughter, and granddaughter? He couldn't find any explanation until he came across a wooden post. There it was carved the one word, Croatoan. That was the only suspicious clue. Had the Croatoan natives attacked the colony? No other evidence was found on the island. There were no signs of bones or carved Maltese crosses, signs of which could have indicated that the settlers were attacked or killed. Over time, these settlers came to be known as the Lost Colony, because no one had heard from them ever again. As time has passed, historians have come up with several theories as to what happened to all these people. One theory is that the carved word Croatoan indicated that the settlers willingly moved to Croatoan Island and joined the Native Americans there for protection and supplies, when their leader failed to return in time. Archaeologists studied tree rings on the island in 1998 and came to the conclusion that there was a drought within the time frame when the settlers may have evacuated the island. Another theory was that the colonists were attacked by the hands of warring Native American tribes, or even the Spanish who may have traveled from Florida to attack the colony at Roanoke. And as we know, the Anglo-Spanish War was in full effect at that time. And then there is another theory that the settlers fell victim to disease and sickness in the New World. Some historians even say that the settlers may have tried to return to England on their own and got lost at sea. Letters from John White reveal that he believed the colonists moved 50 miles more inland into the forests of North Carolina. Historians believe that could be a possibility, but there is no evidence to support any of the theories I mentioned before. Unfortunately, nothing was done about all these missing people, and no searches were made until Jamestown was settled in 1607. Early Jamestown settlers reported speaking with some Native Americans, who claimed to know of tribes that could read English and dress like Europeans. They also reported that there were settlements in the south that resembled the houses made on Roanoke. These reports lead many historians to believe that the Roanoke colonists simply moved to a new settlement and joined the native tribes. After generations had passed with marriages among the settlers and natives, a new tribe called the Lumbee, which is native to North Carolina, may have formed. Lastly, another theory is that John White came to the island and found everyone dead. When he returned to England, instead of telling everyone about their death, which could have proved bad for the colonial movement, told the Queen how they had gone missing. So there is a possibility he made up the story of the wooden post to keep the whole story a mystery and, more importantly, keep colonists moving to North America from England. Apart from these rather realistic theories, some also propose a host of paranormal theories, which are obviously based on speculations. The historical accounts have yet to provide any real evidence, and as for paranormal accounts, they are far from having any truth. Nevertheless, for the fun of it, people suggest that there was a zombie outbreak in the colony, which led to cannibalism, which is why no bodies were found. And others say that the zombies ate all the bodies, and then when they ran out of humans to munch on, they themselves died out and decomposed, and that's why we don't find any bodies. If we take a closer look at this theory, maybe we can say that there was an outbreak of a certain disease in the colony, but that doesn't go well with the cannibalism. On the other hand, we could say the colonists went cannibal due to no food supplies, but even that is a little far-fetched. And do cannibals also eat bones? I don't think so. Bones are usually left for jewelry, right? And as for the part that zombies died out of hunger and decomposed, how can that be possible in only 3 years? It takes 8 to 12 years for a human body to decompose the skeleton, and bones, depending on the condition, could take up to thousands of years. Unless zombie bodies are made out of something else like jelly, it's not possible for them to decay in such a short time. Many have proposed many theories, but with no real hard evidence, the Lost Colony remains to be one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of American history. What do you think happened to the Roanoke settlers? Share your thoughts in the comment section down below.